What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the MoJo Ninja Garage. Welcome back to a new video and my new subscribers.
What's up?
Yeah, y'all, what it do? So, the things I have planned for today. I'm gonna have to improvise a little bit. Let me show y'all what I'm working with out here before we start talking about this thing. We got rain, y'all. And it's gonna be like this for the next 3 or 4 days. So the things I wanted to do. Okay, so I really want to get into this heel toe thing. So I figured for the most part, the most important part of all of this is the mechanics of it. So I'm gonna try and go out to a parking lot somewhere in a little bit and try and do what I can. But you know, like I told y'all, I'm on summer tires and they're pretty worn. The last time I took it out trying to hit some corners, trying to test out that sway bar, I really feel the back end, it was kicking out on me a little bit. And it's slippery and wet. I don't want to deal with that. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to talk about pretty much your setup that you're going to need to have to set yourself up for success when you are doing heel to toe. And I'm going to show you guys a technique that you can do stationary, and it'll help you out with the mechanics because the hardest part about doing heel to toe is getting the mechanics of how to do it with your feet. And once you get that down, then you can start working on your timing. So the mechanical part of it, or the mechanics of how to do it, is the hardest part. So I'm gonna try and show you guys a technique you can use to help you out with that. And so for the first part of this, we're pretty much gonna talk about how to set up, because it's kind of different for me because I'm 6'3" and I got big feet, and I still need to get a camera. Well, not get a camera, but get a mounting solution, because right now it's a tight squeeze in there because I'm already crammed in there because these stock seats only go back so far. I wish they can go back at least another click and my feet would be perfect and I would be able to get a camera in there easy, but I got to figure that thing out. But I'm just rambling right now. Let's go ahead and get into talking about how you set yourself up for success. All right, y'all, so we in the car. So like I told y'all, man, if y'all can see this, dude, I'm pretty crammed in here. So like I mentioned to y'all on the other video when I was putting the pedal in there, is that there's an adjustment in the steering wheel here. So in the steering wheel, I had it really close up front because, you know, I got long arms. So right now, a really good thing you want to do is make sure that your seat is set up properly, because like right now mine is straight and that's like I'm sitting straight up, and you got to make sure you slide your butt all the way back into the seat so you're all the way back. And that's just for me because I'm tall, so I need that extra room and that little bit of travel. So I have my steering wheel pulled out as much as I can. You know, it's just enough to where, like, see, my foot is in here or my leg is in here, and like if I'm on the brake, and you know, this is the clutch right here. So I'm on the brake. Now, key thing here now. Matter of fact, before I get into all of that, let me tell you, I made some adjustments. So let's go down here. Let's take a look at that real quick. All right, so I did make changes to the pedal. So let me show you guys what I did here. So now I have the pedal, it's in the middle. So I adjusted it, you know, from side to side. It's in the middle this time. And I actually raised the pedal up a little past half, so it's up higher. You can see it's, hold on, let me step back. So you can see it's a little bit higher up. It's just to get it as close to on the same plane as the brake. So now for me, there's 2 ways you can do heel to toe. One way is, you know, you got your foot on the brake, and then when you're on the brake, you want to turn your foot sideways, and then you mash with your heel onto the gas pedal, bam, and then you know, brake, and then bam, gas, and then you blip your throttle as you know, at the same time you got to push your clutch in when you do that. The second way
is kind of the one that I use because, like I say, it's not enough room in here. Cause this is too close. My feet just too big. I hit this little wall right here, and this is pretty much just a tunnel where the transmission is. So I don't have a lot of real estate right here. So what I do is I use the ball of my foot and like my big toe really, and I kind of get on the right of the brake pedal, and then I push it down, and I try and keep even braking. And my foot is like this sideways, so it's like this, and I'm pushing, giving enough braking pressure to slow the car down. And then when I need to shift, I press the clutch in, shift down, and then I blip the gas pedal with pretty much my pinky toe. And I just blip it like that. And all I got to do is turn my foot sideways like that. And the fact that I raised the pedal up and moved it to the middle to where it's closer to the brake pedal, but not too close, I'm able to hit that without messing up anything. And that's kind of how I do it.
So now, another thing. So like I told y'all, the hardest part of all of this is getting the mechanics down. So there's a few things you could do. Now, if you're familiar with whenever you, well, let me see. Heel to toe is pretty much engine braking. So you're using engine braking to help slow you down so that you don't disturb the balance of the car as you're going into a turn and as you're slowing down without hitting the brakes hard, which is going to really throw everything off. It's all about engine braking. So as you do your rev matching, whenever you downshift, you press in the clutch, you blip the throttle and then shift down into the lower gear. And then when you lift up, when you come up and say anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 RPMs, that gets you where you need to be. So when you downshift, it's a smoother transition. It's not a big jerk. It's just it'll be at the right RPM when you shift in the gear, and then you go. So it's pretty much that. So now the engine braking. So and a good way to practice it. So I know now, like let's say when you come into a stoplight, you're trying to slow down. A good way to practice heel to toe, the way you get to do it a little bit more without trying to do it when you're like trying to go into a turn or anything. It's basically when you're slowing down. So when you do your regular rev match, when you downshift, at that point, work on your foot position and where it is on the floor and on the brake. So you want to put pretty much, let me see if I can get the camera down there so you guys can kind of see it. Okay, so I'm not going to push the clutch in because that's going to put my foot in the way. Like I say, it's crammed in here for me. So now what I do is like I put my foot right here. Now that's why this spacer kind of helps out a lot, where you can put the pedal in the perfect spot for you. But for me, that's where how I had it set up is pretty much how I have it. So what I do is when I'm slowing down, I'm mashing the brake like this. So now I'm on the brake, as you can see here, but I'm also got my foot right above. I dog it if I can get the light in here. Let me see if I can get on this side. You can see on that side, my foot is also on the pedal, on the gas pedal. So when I need to blip it, so I push the clutch in and then blip the gas pedal like this. That's what I do. I just turn my foot over, blip it, shift into gear, and then come off the clutch and off the brake, and then bam, onto the gas. So that's pretty much how I do it. So I'm pretty much here, blip, and all I'm doing, like I say, I'm just rocking my foot. If y'all can see this, I'm trying to get the lighting in here so you can see. So I'm here, so I'm braking here. So now my foot is like totally sideways, and the ball of my foot, really my big toe, is touching the right side of the brake pedal. And then from there, I'm just pretty much shift my foot over this way. And I'm able to blip the throttle enough to rev it up so that I can shift gears, and then I can come off the brake and then on the gas, off the clutch at the same time. All right, so now when you're doing this, you want to do this in steps. So the first thing you want to do, and you got to pretty much mentally think about these steps in the beginning until it becomes natural. So, with everything, it's going to take some practice. So your first step is you want to make sure you put your brake on, and how you do that, like I told y'all before, I use the right side of the brake pedal. And for me, you either you get on the, use the right side of your foot or the ball of your foot, or for me, my big toe, and mash the brake down and making sure you got constant pressure on it and enough pressure on it to slow the car down. Once you do that, then the second thing you want to do is you want to put your clutch in, And then as you put your clutch in, you want to downshift. Now, when you downshift, and then you hit, that's when you're gonna get on to step 4. And then this is where it comes into the timing. And then you want to blip the throttle. So at that point, you know, my toe is on here. Then at that point, I'm clutch in, downshift, and then boom, blip the throttle. Then you want to clutch out. That's your 5th step. And then the 6th thing is you want to come off the brake and then on the gas. All of that is going to be timed in how you turn in or whatever you're trying to do. So those are pretty much the steps that you got to keep in mind when you do that. Now, what I showed you guys before about me, you know, I'm in the garage, car's not on, and I'm mashing the brake, and then I'm hitting the throttle by rocking my foot. I'm like I said, I'm gonna go to a parking lot or something like that and just see where I can do it. Because when you're practicing this, you don't want to do it in your garage or at your house because it's gonna be a lot of noise, especially if you got a loud exhaust. You don't want to be disturbing your neighbors, so that's why I'm gonna go out to a parking lot and kind of show you working the mechanics, and you just do that. And that should help you really get the mechanics and how you're doing it. Now for me, also, like I said, y'all, lifting putting my steering wheel back. So if I'm on the brake, or if I'm about to try it out, I got to kind of lift my foot. This gives me enough room to lift my foot up a little bit, enough to where I can turn, because I got to pretty much turn my leg out to the side like this. It's real awkward. So normal driving, I'm like this. And then when I'm ready to try and do a heel or toe, I pretty much have to turn my foot like this here to get my foot just on the right side of the brake to where I can just rock over this way. And I rock like that, and then I'm able to blip the throttle and then shift in the gear and then go in there. I'm still working on it. You know, I mean, sometimes I'm getting it perfect more times than I'm not getting it. So sometimes I over rev, but that also depends on your shoes. Now, when I was practicing it the most, it wasn't in these shoes. It was some different shoes that I had on. But for these, I have to adjust to it. So it's still a little bit better. My other shoes, they're wider. So I'm able to really just touch the gas pedal, the throttle pedal even better to be able to rock on it the way I do. But pretty much that's the mechanics of it and the way you got to think of it. That's the best way to do it. And like I say, it's going to take practice. All right, y'all. So look, yeah, I'm out here in the parking lot and it's raining hard, dog. But so basically, just to show you guys this is something you could do sitting still. You know what I mean? So basically, I mean, you don't even necessarily have to push the clutch in, but to get the muscle memory, you probably should. So, you know, you push your clutch in, you put your foot on the brake, partially on the brake, and then from there you do that. All you do is like for me, I'm just blipping it that way. And just keep doing that. Just like from here, you know, you can go from here, you know, like if you're slowing down the brake, you slow it down. So you brake, next step, clutch, and then shift in the gear, blip the throttle. And then after you blip the throttle, you let out the clutch, and then off the brake, and then on the gas. So that's pretty much how it goes. So you're going. You know, I can't just show y'all because it's raining and I'm trying to hold the camera with my hand. So we're here. You're going. When you're going, brake, clutch, shift, flip, and then off the clutch, and then off the brake, and then gas. If that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. So in true form, it'll be like this. And the only other thing you'd have to get down is just shifting your gears. All right, so what I'm hoping I'm able to, I'm explaining this right where you guys can understand. So that's kind of, like I said, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Hopefully that explains it pretty well for y'all is what I'm hoping. Until I can figure out a way to like show you the camera footage as I'm doing it. Because I have a couple of cameras, I just don't have the mounting solution to be able to mount it down there. I can mount it behind me so you can see everything going on this way, and you can see what my foot is doing at the same time. But you can see what my leg is doing up here, and then you can see what my feet doing. That's kind of what I want. Whenever I get that kind of set up and figure out what I need to get that'll work for me, that I won't, because I know it's tight. So whenever I'm moving my feet, I might kick the camera off the mount. You know what I mean? So I don't want to do that. So I got to try and figure that out. Or
I might wind up having to get some seats. I do want to get some seats. That would help sit me further back. That way then it'll be more of a comfortable, I'll be in a more comfortable position to be able to do it. But just remember, it's really important that you sit like me. I'm sitting straight up and it's supporting my back, and it's got me sitting up a little bit forward, but you want that because you can feel everything going on with the car. At the same time, you want to, sit all the way, sit your butt all the way back into the seat. The way it gives your legs enough room to be able to move up and down as trying to go from the brake to the gas, and for your clutch as well. And then you don't want your steering wheel too far away from you, but I got long arms, so it don't really matter. Now it just seems like it's right in my face. But to have good control of the wheel, and then at that point, once you do those little things, you can do that other thing stationary, just blip the throttle and just go through the motion. You ain't even got to shift in the gear. Just do your feet, do the functions with your feet. At that point, then you start trying to do it out on the road a little bit. You need to find a parking lot to try it in. Do it in a parking lot. Do it somewhere where it's safe. When you get comfortable with it, then do it out in traffic. And then at that point, then you can really start playing with it. Like when you turn it into a driveway, like going into a fast food place or something like that, and you got to go in a little driveway, you can, engine brake down until you get to second. And then, you do a heel toe, get yourself in the second, and then turn. Or if you're just turning around a corner, anything like that, just to practice it. Once you do it a few times, a lot of times, you'll get used to you'll develop a muscle memory and be able to do it, flawlessly. So hopefully this helps. It's just me trying to give you out a few little tips and something that'll help you guys be able to, learn some driving techniques, because I'm learning too. And as I'm doing it, I'm just trying to take y'all through my process and what got me to the point to where I was able to understand it better. So like I said, hopefully it helps. Appreciate y'all if y'all made it this far in the video. I know I'm sitting up here just yapping away. Appreciate y'all, man. Hey, like, subscribe, hit that bell notification, and hit all so you get notified whenever I put out a video. And until that next video, y'all, peace.